I will call the commission meeting to order Tuesday, March 19th. Ms. Maddie, would you please call the roll?
Eastern Commissioner Bradley Jackson.
Present.
Presiding Commissioner Lynn Lewis.
Present. Thank you. Kinsey, you'll join me with the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Commissioner Blue is out and excused this week and be back next Monday. And our next item to do is we do have one item that we're going to remove from the consent agenda. We have purchasing agent Miss Kim. We're going to remove the renewal of documentation e-procurement software. So we're going to remove that. We're not quite ready for that. We've got approval of today's agenda, approval of last minute's meeting minutes, and that's March the 12th. And so we have a copy of that. We'll sign off on that today. We have no financials. Everything else will go in order. We'll start out with E911, intergovernmental cooperative agreement, and then move on to Ms. Amber giving us a report, and hopefully we can actually vote on this today, food trucks and special events updates. So, all right, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
So moved.
Thank you. I'll second it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so the first item on the agenda, Mr. Mike, if you want to come on up here. Mike Lawton is the E911 Deputy Director, and we've got intergovernmental cooperative agreement.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me. I won't introduce myself since you did. Thank you. We're here today to ask for the Commission's consideration on an expansion of existing footprints at both the Nixa and Sparta Road and Bridge yards, where our current towers for our radio system are located. With the project appropriation and the project of the Moswin addition to our radio system, it's going to require some additional equipment and additional space at those locations, as well as our other locations throughout the county. And so we've given you a package today that gives you an idea of the footprint that we're asking for your consideration at both of those locations. The Nixa location requires a little bit bigger footprint expansion because we want to bring in a 10 by 20 shelter. The existing shelter there is not going to be big enough to place the new equipment inside of it, the electrical equipment. And then also at the Nixa tower location, we have to add a separate emergency generator for that, so there's a pad and a generator for that. The Sparta location, a little bit different. It already has a larger shelter on its location. It's the only place that we have a large shelter, so we don't need the additional shelter footprint, but we do need the generator footprint as well as a 500-gallon propane tank footprint. So it's all outlined in our package to you. We worked with Miranda at Road and Bridge and her team to minimize the impact on the movement through those yards, and also to minimize the use of space, to squeeze it in so that we didn't take up existing space. And I think if you talk to Miranda, we got to an agreement which is what you see on the maps that we provided. And we're looking to start that work probably in April or May. The groundwork for that, which will require work through a subcontractor of Motorola. All of that will be done by us. All the costs, everything, we will put back. If there's any trenching that has to be done, we will put back everything such that it is today for your folks. So there should be very minimal disruption to your operation, and it will look the same after it's done, other than the additional footprint that we're asking for. And this is part of the Moswin project.
Sure, very good. Mr. Jackson, do you have any comments or questions?
The only question I have is the Nixa site. There had been talk in the past about the county moving from that site for our road and bridge department to a different location. How would that impact Moswin being on that property? Should we sell, and relocate?
Oh, it would impact it. I mean, just it would at any location. So if that was to occur, we would have to find an alternate location, not just for this equipment, but for the existing equipment, which is the tower and the Moto Turbo radio system that we are going to continue to operate for our fire agencies and for Road and Bridge, who uses our Moto Turbo system. So when this becomes operational, we'll have 2 radio systems off those towers. So it would require us to move to a different location. I mean, unless we could get an agreement with the the person who purchased it to utilize that ground.
Right now, we have a first right of refusal with the Nixa School District. They want that location, and they're aware of the tower. And if they were to take that, they would continue to allow access to E911.
Okay, and
beyond that, we'd have to.
I didn't know it was the school district. So we actually have another tower at Ozark Elementary East on their school facility there, an agreement with them to have that there. So there's already one in place with Ozark School District, not with Nixa.
Okay.
However, we do have agreements with Nixa School District for some of their equipment on our towers, radio communication equipment. So we have agreements with them.
On the existing towers, but not on the new towers?
No new towers. We're putting equipment on the existing towers.
Oh, okay. So I apologize. My thought process was that with the motion, when we were putting in new towers, not utilizing any existing towers, but they were all going to be new.
No, we are utilizing all existing towers, including the Sparta and Nixa locations. We're adding additional equipment to the tower, as well as a footprint on the ground for the ground equipment, the receivers and all that stuff. So there's not any new towers, no.
Okay. I was under the impression there were new towers going up.
No. We're trying to make it fit our existing tower locations, and we were successful in engineering that with Motorola.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, and I really feel like the school, if the school if we end up finding another location and we end up buying that location, I think the school will work with you all.
We have a good
I think we have a
working
problem there.
arrangement.
The only thing we might work with Miranda and maybe even, I don't know, talk to the school or whatever, but I mean, might figure out a place that would be the safest place to go that wouldn't impede what they want to do with that property. But that would be the only thing but you don't want to, the tower is there, so I would just try to figure out the best way.
Yeah, I mean, the investment in the tower back in 2000, I think it was 16 or 17, Miranda probably knows, I wasn't here, but a couple $100,000 in structural equipment there, plus the additional stuff on the ground. So there's quite an investment, but we certainly understand that things are going to happen, and that's where we have to get into action and find new solutions. So we're not opposed to finding new solutions.
And I did look at the agreement. I don't think, Miranda, you don't see any issue with this agreement either, except
No, I don't, except for, and I've talked to Mike about this, the signature page.
Right.
Austin needs to check it out.
We're going to make sure that Mr. Austin Fax signs off on this. As soon as he signs off on that this week, then Commissioner Jackson and I will sign off on it. And then we will wait till Commissioner Blue gets back next Monday, and then he will sign it, and then we've got it done.
Certainly, our attorney is the one who drew up the cooperative agreement, Todd Johnson, and he's worked with your attorneys before.
Right.
So if there's any issues, I'm certain they can work through the...
It's just now a matter of timing with the signatures, and then it'll be complete.
We understand that completely. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is Ms. Amber.
You're not looking for an acceptance of this?
Well, we could make an acceptance based on...
I'd make a motion contingent upon review of our attorney and his approval.
Okay, and I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we'll get it done. Okay, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Ms. Amber, talking about food trucks and special events update. You've been working on this, and the committee's been working on this quite a while. I appreciate all the work.
So I emailed you guys yesterday that updated, I made all the changes that we had discussed last week. And I told you the one point of contention that Austin Facts had, really a suggestion, because the way I wrote the food truck insurance, I didn't put a number to it. And he says that he will, he always is going to be on the side of caution, saying we should put a number to it. His suggestion was we do the $3 million like we do the special events. I think that that's too burdensome for food trucks to have. I don't think so. I talked to Greg Williams and asked if he had a number, who's our, and they did. He gave me a list of low risk and moderate risk term, like basically we would say that they would be under those, which drops the liability to $500,000 to $1 million. So I think that if you have no other if you have no other issues with these contracts, I say that you can approve them. Pending, I'm going to send back and tell them what the food truck is. I'm hoping that it will go to the low risk activity, so $500,000 insurance for food trucks. That's my thought. If we want to put a number to it, you technically don't have to, but if you want to.
What would the additional cost of, if we could get that added to our policy, what would that cost our county a year, additional insurance?
No.
Oh, there's no...
If we are meeting all of the terms to the insurance, they said they will not give it.
Oh, they won't give it?
For this year. No,
okay.
I can't guarantee that for next year, but for this year, if we meet all their terms, they said that they were not going to be giving us an increase. That hasn't changed since last week. That's what we're talking about, how we word it in the contract.
And we'll need to have, internal procedures in place to monitor their insurance requirements and make sure that everything's approved. So we'll just need to create that on the backside of how we're tracking and monitoring and make sure that they're up to date.
That's something that we can work with Kayla about, because she'll be taking the applications. She can have a checklist to make sure that she's acquired all of the necessary information.
Okay.
So Ms. Kayla, when do we have that first food truck?
He wants to come tomorrow.
What do you think about that? This one gentleman has been consistent in coming and wanting to participate. I don't know how you heard about it, but he has, and he's a fried fish food truck. It's supposed to be really good.
Well, if you guys vote on this, you could have him sign it today. If he can provide all the information, that's your decision. We did put in here that for a food truck, it's $40 for a month, and that they get to pick 4 dates, and those 4 dates are chosen at time of signature. So that's the way that you had directed me to do that.
So we can have a copy of this contract, so when he comes in tomorrow morning,
I would do it today if he was.
If we can get him to come in today and sign the
You
contract.
could at least send it to him today.
Okay.
I don't think anybody should come in and just sign it. They should read it.
Okay.
I mean,
We want them to study it. Okay. Well,
They should know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll send. We have his email address, so we're going to send. We'll send it out this morning and see how he replies.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if tomorrow seems just a little bit too soon, because we'll need to get with Mr. Teague and make sure that he has everything he needs as far as where they're going, where their proper placement.
you might want to talk to Richard.
Yeah, I think maybe next week might be more prudent than tomorrow.
I also think that you should have an opportunity to get out advance word to employees for that too.
Yeah, we want to notify the employees. So maybe, Ms. Kayla, if we can email him this morning and tell him that we're going to have a contract that send it to him and see what he thinks, but tell him we'd like to start next week, next Wednesday, and he needs to probably get together with Richard and make sure everything's okay. If Richard says it's okay, we're fine with it. So they get all the details worked out, and then that gives us plenty of time to notify our employees and all the buildings and things like this.
I can work with you on getting a checklist together, because for food trucks, you'll know what was changed was we did put in there that they would, dates would be requested, 4 dates would be requested at time of signature, and that the commission reserves the right to approve or deny the requested dates. I put in there that no more than 2 food trucks would ever be allowed on one calendar day, which again, we can decide to just have one for a while, but I do think that you need to let them know it would never be more than 2. The license fee is in here. I have $40 for 4 dates. An additional fee of $10 was added if they are using electricity, and then of course we put in there that we're not responsible for damages if they do use our electricity. Those were the big changes that you had requested on this one, and then you could vote on that one. If you vote on it, it does not have a limit on the insurance, but I do say that it has to have insurance, maintain it, and we would be named as an additional insured. So, I mean, it's covering all bases, I just don't have a minimum in there. Because I really don't know how much food trucks cover. I mean, I don't know that answer.
Yeah, and I think that if you are putting in their sovereign immunity limits of $3 million, you're probably gonna, there's gonna be a lot of them that probably don't have that ability.
I don't think so. That's why I pulled
So.
it out. But I mean, they have to have it, and
They gotta have insurance.
They have to name us.
Yes, absolutely.
But I didn't really know. And we can go off of what he said. Maybe we put 500,000 or $1 million. But I really didn't know what food trucks had. I mean, it's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I know what nonprofits have. That's a different story. But on food trucks, I really didn't know. But I wrote it as a general statement. They have to have it. They have to carry it. They have to name us as an insured, which is all the checks, all the boxes. So you could vote on that one if you're ready to move forward with those terms.
Yeah, I think the only other thing would be that they need to provide their proof of inspection through the health department.
It's in here.
I said on there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Then I'm good with that one.
Okay, then,
It doesn't say they have to provide it to us. They have to have it ready if they're, you know, they have to have it posted like they're supposed to by the.
And most of them will have their annual inspection because they're doing it every single day of the week or every week of the year. But there are still a few that tend to not be inspected.
Yeah, it says in here that they will have already had to meet all the obligations of.
Okay.
Yeah.
is it the county's responsibility, or is it the vendor's responsibility to notify the county health department that they're going to be here on certain days? And whose responsibility is it?
They wouldn't
don't have to-
necessarily have to
yeah.
tell the health department where they're going to be. They just have to be inspected.
Okay.
To do
So-
business, to operate.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think.
do they have to be
in?
inspected before that first day? Do they have to be inspected before they actually?
Yeah, they should have their,
Yeah.
that they've been inspected, that they're
Yeah, okay.
licensed to
So,
do.
Ms. Kayla and I would probably, if I'm down here, we'll probably make sure that they
You can
probably.
have that
already-
on their checklist.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
checklist will be good, okay.
Just have them check off
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that they've done their due diligence. It depends on what type of permit they pull. They can pull an annual permit, which gives them the ability to be inspected once initially and then intermittently through the year, or they can have just a festival permit, which they pop up once, twice, 2 or 3 times a year, and which they'd have to be inspected each time they open up.
All right, well, I think this is really good work. I really appreciate it, what you've worked out with Mr. Bax, and I would accept a motion to.
I'd make that motion to
agreement.
approve the temporary license agreement for food trucks.
Okay, we got a motion, I will second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So it passes, so we've got that. Thank you very much.
The next one is special event. The only thing that you had me change on this one was to add the $100. There was no other change to this. All of the all of the changes were on the food trucks when I went back and made these changes. So,
And I just wanted to clear things up, because we're not here to make money. A question was asked me why $100 fee was put on there, and my reasoning behind it, I mean, we will have some everyday maintenance after the course of a weekend of, you know, utilizing the facility, the trampling of grass. There will be some preventative maintenance to reestablish those areas, whether it be fertilizer, grassy, whatever the case may be. There will be some costs to the county, and that's really why that fee is $100 versus a food truck is only $40.
Yeah, and the
Because
food truck is
we
happening
can't
during
make,
our day.
yeah, we can't make money off having events on our property, but we can recoup our costs. And I know there are going to be some costs when the farmers market used to be on the square, they trampled down the same spot and it became a lot of wear and tear in trying to keep the grass looking nice. So there will be some costs by the county to help reestablish and you know, keep the grass looking nice, if you will. So I just wanted to make sure that people understand that we're not trying to generate a profit off having a $100 fee. We may end up spending $100 or more recuperating from having an event here on the square.
Yes, and the insurance, while they're not giving us an increase for this year, because there's very few months left, I mean, that doesn't mean that there won't be a slight increase next year.
Sure.
Every year I have to fill out a questionnaire saying all of the things that we do, and then the underwriters write that policy based on that. I mean, we will go out to bid this year too, so I can't tell you with certainty that there wouldn't be that increase as well. This is to protect that too.
Mm-hmm.
When do the policies expire? Because I know you said we're going out for bid. When do these policies expire that we're operating off of?
They run on to June 30th.
June 30th?
July 1 to June 30th.
Okay. So theoretically, we might have a different premium.
So they're saying
in the middle of
that,
this
I mean, really, you're
season.
thinking April, May, and June. So they're looking at it like they're not going to give us an increase for these 3 months.
No, but I mean for the
Meet
new,
those terms.
whoever, whether they get the
Right,
bid again
right.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
because I will have to check this time that we do have special events.
I think if we can, you know, if we can really, I think this is going to be a great thing for employees and citizens. I think it's going to be really good. But if we're really careful and watch it to begin with, insurance companies are watching us, everybody's going to be watching us, and then we can make sure that this is a great thing, safe thing to do, then I'm hoping it will either get a lower bid or keep it the same, and then we're not seeing a premium increase because we're trying to do that. And I think we will.
There's a lot of factors that go into that. We are going out to bid this year because we will be marketable. We have, the way that works is it's a whole equation that they look back over time. And one of our poor years will be falling off. So we have 3 good years that are going to be looked at, which is why, I mean, this is the year to do it.
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, well, I think we could probably approve this too. I don't see a problem, so I'll take a motion to approve.
I would make that motion to approve the temporary license agreement for special events on county property.
Perfect, thank you very much. I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All righty. Let's see.
And I did get a phone call about the gazebo rentals. I do think that you should probably say on the record that those will not be moving forward anymore. You won't be reserving that at all. These are the only 2 things that you'll be reserving. I don't know if you need to put it on the record, but I did did you get phone calls about that too? I did too.
I think internally we can just remove that.
Yeah, I need to get that down.
Remove that as a procedural item that we do. It's just anybody can use during the day for whatever.
Yeah, it's just a community use.
So is it going to be, I mean, it's kind of been that way anyway. First come, first serve?
And you really can't turn anybody away. I mean, so if someone has a wedding dress on and you've got a bunch of people dressed up out there and they're doing a wedding, they've already started, or they're getting ready to start, and they've got a minister and everything out there, and they're on the gazebo, and now another group comes and they want to do something right that's the
now.
risk that you're going to run. You're going to have to wait your turn, and hopefully that everybody is kind, because everybody has the same right to public ground.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you did, you can't say that you can't stop someone else from coming too. That's kind of what Jose was saying, like how do you, the only thing we're going to say we will allow are these major events that we will publicize that this is what the area is being used for at that time.
And
Well-
we've had different things. I mean, it hasn't been that long ago. The auditor may remember there was a band or a small band that played out there all day one day. It was quite loud. You know, but maybe they needed some lessons. I don't know, but they were quite loud. But I mean, that's just what you're going to have in a public space. And that's a good thing. I think it's a great thing that we have people that want to come and utilize our public space.
Yeah.
So.
It was the day that all of the dogs came. I didn't know that. That was fun though. Nice to see them all.
What's
All the
amazing
paws on parade one day.
is you don't realize how many people go up on that gazebo in a day's time.
Yeah.
Since I've started working down here quite a bit, and I'm sitting right here, I'm looking right out at that gazebo. Yesterday and last week when the weather was nicer, it's amazing how many people, I don't know exactly what they're doing, sometimes it looks like a family. I could tell one day they were taking pictures, but we have movement out there all the time, which is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had a young family the other day, got out of their car and got their lunch out and spread it out on the picnic table and just had a nice little picnic lunch. I mean, it's a great thing. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I think we take that down and then we can tell people that's just
First
open
come,
to
first
public.
served.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Very good. All right, communications. Mr. Jackson, do you have anything that you need to communicate?
At this point in time, I will defer back to the presiding commissioner.
Okay, I know that next Monday, so Ms. Miranda, help me. We have a special commission meeting next Monday, and it's at 11 a.m.?
I believe so.
I think it is 11, and that's, I think, because of a request of one of the commissioners couldn't be here until 11 o'clock. And that meeting, we have our county attorney here included with the three commissioners, and it is open to the public, and we'll be discussing options that the commission might want to take or need to take concerning Green Bridge. So that's a special meeting next Monday at 11 o'clock. We have a regular commission meeting next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Okay? And then the following week, when we have election day, we're not having the commission meeting on Tuesday, we're having it on Thursday.
The 4th.
So, yeah, the 4th. So those are just announcements we can kind of keep clear on some of the things going on. But other than that, if there's no other business, I will call the meeting adjourned.